All right, welcome back to the final video. So this isn't going to be any code or anything. This is just going to be getting us up and running with our new live site. So I have a Netlify account. It's free. There are paid versions, but we don't need one for this. I'm going to click on new site from Git and click on GitHub. So if you haven't set this up yet, it'll ask you for some login information. If I click on GitHub, I've got it already set up. And so if I type in CrossFit, I've got CrossFit for the rest as one of the repos. So I'm going to click on that. And everything should auto-populate, but if it doesn't, you'll want to make sure that it's set on master to deploy, and then Gatsby build is in our build command and public slash. I've had it in times before where I forgot to check, and these were left blank, and then I hit deploy site, and I was getting errors, and I was like, what's going on? So I'll show you how to fix that here in just a second. If it's getting errors like when you're initially setting up, go over to this deploys section and click on deploy settings, and then just right here make sure that Gatsby build and public slash are set up. If those are blank, then and you have a Gatsby project, then it's not going to work. So with Netlify sites, they set you up with a default domain name. So it'll be thirsty agnesi whatever .netlify.com. I like to keep my Netlify subdomain matched or as closely aligned with my actual domain as possible. And I've actually got a custom domain here that I bought to use for this, so it's a little bit cleaner. You don't even have to do this. This'll work live for you if you want to use the Netlify one and don't feel like spending a couple bucks or whatever. But usually domain names are not super expensive. You're looking at maybe like 10-12 bucks a year, but by all means you definitely don't need to do that. So I bought a Namecheap domain, but these directions you can follow them. If you just search like Netlify and Namecheap or Netlify and GoDaddy or whatever. The documentation is pretty clear for how to get stuff set up, and like there's a ton of different blog posts out there as well they'll help you out. So what I'm going to do first is it just finished building, so I'll show you what this looks like. So I've got my sweet netlify.com subdomain and everything's working like it's supposed to, so that's all good. But I don't want that subdomain, so I'm going to change this. So if I go to, sorry, I was kind of quick there. If I go to domain settings and then options, edit site name, I'm going to call this fit for the rest.netlify.com and save it. All right, nice. So that's all good. Now the next step is to actually go over, in my case, to Namecheap. And actually on Namecheap, if you like search it, you can go through the purchasing process or whatever. So after you sign up for an account, you can search your domains or whatever. But if I go back to, so once you have all that set up in your account and everything, you'll have a dashboard with all of the domains that you've purchased. I've got fitfortherest.com here, and I'm going to go to manage. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually flip this over to custom DNS, and I'm going to come back here in just a second with some information that I'm going to get from Netlify. So I'm going to add a custom domain that's fitfortherest.com. It already has an owner. Is it you? Yes, it is. So I'm going to add it. Then I'm going to verify the DNS configuration. So what I need to do for that is set up Netlify DNS. So I clicked on this. That was my mistake. So don't do this yet. It doesn't hurt anything if you do, but that's not the next step to take. The next step is to go up to fitfortherest.com and set up Netlify DNS. So you must own fitfortherest.com to complete all the steps. I do. Cool. So I'm going to hit verify. Yes, I am the owner. And so it's going to ask me to add DNS records here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and I'm going to update my domain's name servers on Namecheap. So I'm just going to copy this first one, and notice that they're all the same except for 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I go back to Namecheap, I go to name server number 1, paste it in. Name server number 2, I'll paste it in and then replace this 1 with a 2. Same thing with 3 and 4. And before I save, let me just double check that that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, everything else is the same. So I'll hit that check mark. And you might notice that this might not work immediately, like right away off the bat. So let's see. It looks like we should be good. Let's see if I verify. Cool. So the verification was successful. If I provision a certificate, let's see. So sometimes like it gives you this little warning, like don't worry about it. It takes a second. It'll eventually automatically get it set up for you. So if I click on this right now, fitfortherest.com, it's oh, it actually already is working. So you might get one of those like, oh, this is unsafe, like don't go here, like pages. This one is just giving me the warning that this is just HTTP. But after a couple minutes, if I refresh this, or I bet even if I was to open this up in like incognito private mode or whatever, it would probably be just fine. So that's the process, and that's all there is to it. So now if I were to every time that I obviously this looks like trash for now, like on this screen it's pretty wide, so 50% of the viewport height, like you can't even see this whole background image and like things like that. So I've got a lot of work to do to make this look better. But every time that I do, and every time that I push a new change to this repo, what's going to happen is it's going to trigger a build here. And let's see if we can go to build it and deploy. So automatically build deploy previews for all pull requests, which is nice. So what that means is if I've got a branch and I submit a pull request, it's not going to update the website itself, but I will be able to see a preview of that branch to see if the changes look okay. But by letting it know that the production branch is master, anytime that I make a change to the master repo, whether that's merging a pull request or submitting changes directly to master or whatever, anytime I push those changes, the website is going to be rebuilt and redeployed, which is what makes Netlify so awesome. So there you have it. This one was a little bit shorter. Hopefully we got you up and running. But if you've got questions about trying to set this up with other DNS providers, if you, like I said, you're using GoDaddy or one of the other ones, there's a bunch out there. Like just do a quick Google search, Netlify and blank, whatever provider that you're using. If you've got quick questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. But this is the last video I'm going to post on this series. But like I said, I'm going to leave a link to the repo here. So if you want to check it for reference, you'll be able to kind of see any updates that I make, and then follow along with any changes. And of course, you can visit fitfortherest.com and see any future blog posts. Hopefully we'll get a nicely styled version of this up and running within the next couple days or weeks or whatever it is. So thanks again for hanging out through this whole series, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.